Dr. Jazz.
Thank you for finding the time. Appreciate it.
Jazz.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure.
I have you on so many records, so it's like, I checked my collection. I think I have you on like 30 records. I mean, you as a band leader, so
Yeah, I've been busy.
yeah, you've been really busy. I just listened today to Divine Love, and it's like I wanted to make this ECM connection kind of because the new record is also an ECM, and it's. I want to ask you later about Divine Love also, but
Yeah. Look, night before last, I decided that I wanted to hear Divine Love as well.
yeah.
I didn't hear it yet, but I'm going to hear it before the weekend is over.
Mm.
Because I was trying to remember, did I write Divine Love or who wrote that?
Oh, it's such a nice record, really. I mean, it's
Yeah.
incredible. But I wanted to start this talk with the main reason we got connected first, the new record with Vijay
Yeah.
Iyer, and it's like almost 10 years since the Cosmic Rhythm album, and what's your story with Vijay, and how did you guys decide to do the new, and how is it different, or is it like a continuation of the last record?
No, it's not sequential. It's eventual. It's about events. And we've known each other since I've known Vijay since he lived in the Bay Area, which is a long time
Oh,
ago.
really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I used to play up there quite often, and we would occasionally, say hello and contemplate playing together. And he also played in Golden Quartet for a couple of years. Um, but getting to the project, was since we did the Cosmic Rhythmic one back, I think it's 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, that was a very beautiful and successful journey for us together. We played it all over Europe and many places in America. Um, and so, we decided maybe it's time to do a new project. And we didn't decide what it was going to be. We just simply let it percolate and try to think about what it was that we wanted to say at this time, which is like 9 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you guys approach it? Because like lots of music is co-written, right? I mean, there's
Well, it's co-created.
co-created, yeah.
Okay, there are two people. There are two pieces: the kite and the floating river
Yeah,
requiem.
exactly.
Those two are individual pieces, which is basically our trademark. We try to put something there that each of us has thought about and brought into the project, and then the rest of it we create in the moment.
Mm.
Okay, and it's not called improvisation, although people make that mistake all the time. It's called create, meaning that we do it through the authentication of inspiration. You see, and not the fact that we are on stage or in a studio together and then we're going to make something happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Inspiration is the key to everything. It's the glue that hooked up creation as well as any object that comes in creation.
Yeah. How do you get inspired then in the studio?
Well, you don't have to get inspired because you see, inspiration has a key. It has a key that unlocks this door. It's
Mm.
dope,
Okay.
and that key is well, one of the qualities of it is being who you say you are and think you are on the outside, and also having that same commitment for who you are on the inside. That's the first thing. So that means that if there's a level of sincerity, when inspiration comes, it won't skip past us, you see. Often people are too busy to be inspired.
True. Yeah. Yeah. True. How did also this reconnection with ECM actually happen with Mumford? Because I mentioned Divine Love, which is on ECM as well,
Mhm.
and what was the story there again? Reconnected with
Well,
Mumford.
Vijay has been recording for me for a
Yeah,
number of years.
yeah.
Um, um, I recorded in 2019 a project that's it's called Appassionata, which
Yep.
is not released yet. Um, so there's been a kind of an ongoing relationship with Manfred from the very beginning when the ECM was established.
Okay.
Um, uh, I knew Manfred uh, uh, as a early in the early days in the 70s. I knew Manfred in the 70s. In fact, Manfred and Thomas Dowson, both who worked at the Electro Egger shop in Munich, uh, both of them we played music together.
Mm,
And there's a recording that's actually filmed called "See the Music." It's in that. That's a comprehensive film that's of a performance with uh, Marion Brown, uh, Manfred Eicher, Thomas Dowson, and the drummer, I believe is from Detroit. I can't remember his name right now. But we went on tour. We played 4 or 5 performances in
really?
Austria,
Oh, wow.
Germany. Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know. Wow.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That's interesting.
So the connection is not how you said unusual in the sense that we've known each other since the 70s.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
How did then Divine Love happen? I mean, for you, and also, I think this late 70s were amazing for ECM because, Kenny Wheeler, who's also a guest on Divine Love,
Mhm.
did some of the best records in trumpet history, and like then Divine Love happened as well. Like, what's the story behind that record?
Well, the story is that I asked Manfred to record my project. That's the basic story. And then I set aside to seek out personnel. And I didn't want a record about a group, a set group
Yeah.
that intends to just go out and play because I'm thinking more of a project as opposed to some kind of working on something. Okay. And so the music I created for it was Divine Love, which was to have my basic trio of people, Bobby Norton and Dwight Andrews and
Yep.
I. And I created the piece Tasloom for 3-meter trumpets. Okay. By the way, that's one of the earliest and oldest first full harmon muted trumpet piece in the history of recorded time. Okay, and it also introduced a new language, approximation language, of which both Lester and Kenny played through. Okay,
Mm,
um, and then the third piece, spirituality, the language of love, was was um, was the basis of my trio as well, which is Bobby Norton, Dwight Andrews.
yep.
Manfred, uh, uh, maybe he telephoned me or maybe he wrote me a letter saying that he knew that Charlie Hayden was going to be in town at that time, and he asked if I would like to have Charlie Hayden on the record. And of course, I know Charlie Hayden from Ernest Coleman and also from his Liberation Orchestra. And I said yes, which he came in. We looked over the piece, did a short rehearsal, and recorded both pieces. I'm not both pieces, but the spirituality, language of love.
Yeah.
Now, the curious thing that I've discovered about Divine Love after all these years is that project was a profoundly spiritual journey for me because if you notice, divine love and spiritual, the language of love, and taslum is an Islamic word which means to be touched,
Mm,
to know something through firsthand reality. And the way it goes is that Moses went into the mountains and he came back and he told his people, he said to his people, no, he was going to the mountains, And he said, should I bring you a branch? Should I tell you about the budding branch? Or should I bring you the branch? And should I tell you about the experience? So all of them are secondhand knowledge about the real experience. The one who touched the fire know that it's burning. The one who's told about the fire understands the narrative, but doesn't know what the fire does.
Mm.
One who sees it doesn't know the story, they just see it. So that's what Tasloom means. So all of these three compositions are centered around the idea of I don't want to use the word enlightenment, but the notion of being fully aware and conscious and in the presence.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's so strong, probably still, the record.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a great record, yeah.
I mean, you put it on now I listened to it today, and it's like it's modern in a way. I mean, I hate this word, but you know, it's now. It's like
It's
as if
still present.
yeah,
That's right. It's still
exactly.
present.
Yeah,
That's correct. Yes.
it's such a beautiful one. I mean, but I wanted to ask you, since I have you here, you know, I've spoken to so many guys as part of this series, uh, and I checked my albums with you, like I said, and I have you on records with Muhal, like early 70s, and you had such a strong connection with Anthony Braxton as well. Like,
Yes.
how did you enter, and Marion Brown we mentioned as well, and uh, how did you enter the improvised world, like, and jazz? I mean, I know you were part of AACM, and but like still, you were so lots of self-initiative. I'll put it like that as well, because you were one of the first guys who founded your own label and did it on your own as well. Like,
Yeah.
what were your beginnings? I mean, if
Well, my beginnings was that I came up in a family that didn't like to work for other people. Okay. We were farmers and we were contractors and the stuff like that. Like for example, my grandfather was a farmer. He would rent a small piece of land, and that land he would grow food on it. And I was his main helper.
oh well.
And so I learned how to farm by working with him doing that. And later, I developed my own little patch of land next to my neighbor's house, who offered the land for me to do it. And my grandfather's brother was a horticulturist who dealt with flowers, and so I also worked with him. And I also had the most beautiful flower garden in my community. Okay, so this self-reliance come from the house. My family, although it was matriarchal in construction, we all had our share of independence and how to function independently.
Mm.
And we never asked people for stuff. Like, for example, when I composed my first piece at 12 years old, I didn't ask anybody if I could compose it. I didn't ask anybody to teach me. I let my own sensibility direct me as to what to do. And I still remember that process today.
Mm.
It's fresh in my consciousness, and it's never ever left me. You know, you decide to do something and you learn how to do it, because we have the skills to do anything that's possible as human beings. We just limit ourselves by our small and narrow political views, or our social views, or our religious views, or our intellectual views, which is all crippling. None of them are really helpful.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah. How did you then become a member of AACM, and how important was that for you?
Well, it was very important when I got out of the army. When I was getting out of the army, there was a young man that came in who had been in Korea, where Braxton was stationed, and he knew Anthony, and he lived in the suburbs of Chicago. So he gave me Anthony's information. And when I got in town, he was the first person I connected with. I called him up and went to his house, to his house. He was living with his mother. And we played we played Honey Coleman pieces from a publication that the Modern Jazz Quartet,
Okay.
of Honey Coleman's composition. And that was our first encounter. And from there until this day, we're both still journeying across Jupiter and Saturn and Venus and even the sun, because artists can go into the sun. Humans can't, but artists can.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys made such important records, like 3 compositions of new jazz with
Yeah.
Lira and Muhal. I think that's
an incredible record.
oh man,
It's an incredible record.
you remember how you guys made it? Like
Yeah, I remember everything about it. Yeah.
Can you share, please? I mean, since I have you here.
Yeah, well, the most amazing thing is that the bell was never supposed to be on the record.
Oh wow.
Okay, and during the rehearsal for the record, we had a lunch break, and we was at Muhal Richard Abrams' house rehearsing because Muhal was going to be on there, and Muhal put on the concert that we had played the week before, where we played the bell. And as the bell played, the room got very quiet. We stopped eating, we started listening. And then Braxton come over and he says, Leo, do you mind if we record that piece? So that's how it got on there, not from coercion or from my influence, but simply because the bell had a sound that would complete 3 compositions of new jazz, that project. In the studio, we had 2 sessions. We did we did the balloon piece first, and most people still haven't caught up with the balloon piece yet. Okay, because they can't imagine that 3 young men from Chicago would attempt to make music like that, but we did. Okay, nobody talks about that piece, no matter who hears the record. Nobody does. And then the next 2 was the M488 and the bell.
Yep.
The remarkable thing about those 2, we added Muhal Richard Abrams on there. Okay, and I learned what my rhythm units were in that session, in the playback. Okay, it was in the score, but I had no knowledge how it should be performed.
Yeah.
We spontaneously performed it. And that realization or epiphany popped in as to how this particular language should work. So it's a magnificent record. It's a basic, it's a fundamental discovery for me. Yeah,
it's amazing when I listen back to all the stuff you did, and I got a sense that there was a really strong sense of community and connection between you guys. I mean, obviously, all you guys did like your own records later, but there was like really this sense of groups and helping each other out. I mean,
it was a community. It was spiritual. It was a spirit of the community. We interact with the community that the AACM and the people were involved in.
Yeah, and
we also, understood that this idea of failure is an important part of human unit, the human unit.
Yeah.
And it goes way beyond the nuclear family, which is basically the family we're born into, but it extends out into our collective associated families throughout the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because that's the nature of livelihood. Family is the basis of it, and having an extended family that springs straight across the world is so much important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you remember how the music was accepted in the beginning? Like what you guys because it was something new that you started doing.
Music always have a hard time, particularly when it starts out. At some point, I guess the persistence of it and the ability to travel opens up other possibilities for it, you say. But music always has problems because, you see, the main reason it has problems because music is the only art form that doesn't exist on any planet in this solar system.
Mm.
or inspiration. Every other form of art does, from dance to painting to singing to whatever, you say. And we have a human representation of them, but music doesn't have that.
Yeah.
See? And it only enters the planet either through inspiration or some kind of construction.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about like your own label. You know, I've spoken to to a while ago to Mark Elias and Jerry Hemingway, and
Mm.
you know, they all these guys from New Haven started
Yes.
making their own labels. I guess, and everyone mentioned you as well, that you were a big inspiration for them because you did that already in the early 70s. What was the main impetus for that, and how did you start actually? Because your first record is you did it on your own, right? Everything.
Yeah, my first couple records,
Yeah.
Creative Music One, and
And
then
Song of Humanity, which is amazing, by the way.
Song with
Yeah.
Humanity, and then Reflectivity.
Yeah.
Those were the first three. Okay. As recent as last year, I released Fire Illumination on Cabell.
Mm.
So it has moved across and across through space, and now I have sitting on my table three different releases that'll be
Wow.
coming out over the next, late fall and early next year.
Mm.
Yeah.
When you started, and now, you know, now we have, you know, the industry obviously changed really
Yeah.
differently. How was it if you compare? I mean, it's hard to compare, but still, I think you're the guy
Well,
who can do it actually. So,
well, back then, my intention was never to be competitive. Okay, so I made records based off of what I thought about that I needed.
mm,
My first pressing was 200. My second pressing was 100. My next pressing was another 200. Okay, and that's the way I existed. Not economically, artistically. I'm talking about
yeah,
because I didn't go into it for it to be a commercial venture. I
absolutely.
did it because I wanted to not just document what I'm doing, but to function as an independent uh, 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 company that didn't try to compete with major companies. And therefore, I didn't buy ads. I didn't send records out for reviews, um, you know, and they all sold out, you see. They all sold out. And the same thing with creative music, the 8 notes creative music, same thing. I made the first publishing of those was 200. Then the next was 100, and then I believe the next one was 100. So there's only 400 copies that exist.
Wow,
Period.
wow.
But check this. I have signed at least 100 Xerox copies of it,
Sure, I believe you. Yeah,
and now I send out to people that ask me. I send digital copies of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
How have you learned all that in the beginning? What to do, how to do it? I mean, what?
Well, you just like I say, you don't need to ask anybody. You start doing it, and
Okay.
then because everything you do requires a decision.
Yeah, yeah,
So if something is not working, you have to figure out what's not working. Then you just fix it and keep moving. You know,
yeah,
you don't have to go to school for it or have a trade for it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I believe in total independence and self discovery. That's what I believe in.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
mean, because nowadays it's easy in a sense, you know, people can Google whatever, how you can
Yes.
do it.
Yes.
Back
Yes.
then it was like, you know,
There was no information out there except I knew
zero. Yeah.
history. I knew that Mingers and those guys had started a company out west there, and I knew that there was a few other people here and there, and then later Strata East and all these
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
companies. And but still the my notion of non-competitive marketing and production, I believe is quite different. You say, and you allow the floor the product to find its own course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a marathon, right? You're in for the long
Yes.
run always. I mean,
Yes. Yes.
and yeah. Since I'm in Europe, I wanted to ask you one thing. How did you connect with the European improvisers? I know you had the trio with Peter Kowalt and the Germans and Gunther Baby Sommer.
Mhm.
How did that story begin? You started to connect with
Well,
the Europeans.
the first of the European improvisers was it happened in London, and it was with Derek Bailey and
Really?
Company,
Yeah.
and that was my first encounter with the European artists. Okay, and I had came through the Derek Bailey and I had communicated by letter. We didn't use emails then,
Sure.
and he was curious about some stuff, and we were kind of connected. Okay, and so Anthony Braxton, I believe, told him that I was available if he wanted it. He invited me to come,
Mm,
and I enjoyed playing with company because there was a contingent of players from all over Europe. Later, I did that in Greece as well as in Germany and as
mm.
well in Holland and various other places. A similar kind of a format.
Concept. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that was my encounter with the artists in Europe. That was my first encounter with them.
Mm.
Mhm.
How did then the
Although I had been to Europe earlier, I had been to Europe in 1967.
already
Yeah,
like as a musician? I mean,
yeah,
touring?
yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
came to
really?
Braxton, Jenkins, Smith, and McCall.
Wow,
Steve.
man, really?
Yeah, we lived in Paris, and the art ensemble was also there. They had also come to Europe. So we had two AACM uh, ensembles living in Paris in 1969.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and
Incredible.
there I had played with European players, but Compton was the most sufficient one of that iteration.
Did you, how was it for you coming from Chicago and with your own aesthetic as an improviser, playing with Europeans who had, like, especially Germans, let's say, completely different aesthetic? I mean,
Well, the aesthetic may be different, but the music all sound the same.
yeah.
Basically, because the problem with improvised music is that uh, it's a community activity where everybody competes for the lead.
Mm,
And I know that because I've been in, I played across Greece, across Germany, across Holland, across France,
yeah,
across
yeah.
everywhere. And that every time that's the same indication. Okay. I don't call myself an improviser. I call myself a creator or a creative musician. And I call my pieces compositions and performances and stuff like that. And I do that politically because I don't want to be associated with free improvisation or free music or free jazz or any of that stuff. Okay. And I don't say that as a hostile gesture. I say that as a
Okay.
more correct way of how to think about me. And I do it for a particular reason. The creator gave us the ability to name and announce who we were or who we are. And I take that advantage.
No, I agree. I mean, I hate the terms like when people
No,
ask
I
me
understand.
what you are, or they ask me. I mean,
Yeah.
what are you? A jazz musician? What? I'm a musician. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's all
That's
mixed.
the ultimate. That's the
Yeah,
ultimate goal. Because all those terms are commercial,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Absolutely.
what you call them, commodities. They're commercial commodities.
Yeah,
And art doesn't exist on commodities. If it did,
absolutely.
it would die.
Yeah, it's just for
Yeah.
people to find music easier, I guess, or something. That's,
No, it's just based off of the bottom line. It's commodity.
yeah, it's a commodity. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And the Warhol showed us that, and nobody understood it because those camel soups, that's what he was showing us. No, seriously,
yeah, yeah. Sure.
showing us that art is not a commodity. That look at that, this soup here. You know, I've made a piece of art out of it. It's not a commodity.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely true. Yeah.
Mm.
You mentioned before the Golden Quartet, which is one
Yeah.
of your uh, long-lasting bands. I mean,
Yeah.
what was the idea behind the band? Like, how did you decide to do it? I mean, especially also one question: how
Well,
do you decide?
there's a beautiful story about it.
Oh, please.
Uh, I was thinking of creating a quartet with just trumpet, bass, and piano and drums. And as you know, if you look through the literature, there's very few of those ensembles.
Yeah,
Book of Little had one,
yeah,
okay, and uh, uh, I believe that's it. You see, I decided I was going to get one. So what I did, I called up Lester Boyd and I said, "Listen, Lester, I'm going to make me a quartet, and I'm going to call it Golden Quartet." And he says, "God damn." Yeah. He said, that's a great name. I wish I could have thought of it." And so the idea of the quartet was that it would be trumpet lead with piano, bass, and drums, and that everybody in the ensemble would lead. There was no secondary or
yeah.
voice level or this or that. And I decided that I wanted it to be special. I asked Malachi Favors from the Art Ensemble,
Yeah.
and I asked Anthony Davis, who were busy writing his operas, and I asked Jack DeJohnette, and all of them said yes.
Yeah.
And so that meant that Malachi was in Chicago, Anthony was in California, DeJohnette was in New York. So what I would do is I would fly to Chicago and rehearse with Malachi. And then I would meet Anthony in San Diego and go over to music. And then Jack and I would talk on the phone, okay? Because we both had a key that nobody knew about. And the key is that when we would prepare to play the Golden Quartet live, we would listen to the music and work off it with the music. That's how we did our rehearsal. So when we got together, all we did was sound check and play.
Mm.
Yeah. So it was a pure kind of straight, uninhibited performance attitude about that ensemble.
Yeah, I love, especially your connection with Jack. It was so beautiful
Yeah,
to hear you guys.
That first record, I forget the name of it, but the one on Zadi, that was
Yeah, yeah.
that was a beautiful record. Yeah,
It's beautiful to hear Jack and you. You know, obviously Jack has done so much stuff, but with you guys had like this.
yeah.
He could play differently in a sense. I
Yeah,
mean,
no. He was the first drummer that I played with that allowed me to be as creative as I wanted to be.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and that happened in a session in Chicago with Muhal Richard Abrams, Jack DeJohnette, and me.
Mm.
And I'm telling you, that music that we created that day was just powerful. It wasn't public; it was private, just the three of us. Yeah.
And I wish it's like the loft sessions in the 70s in New York, you know. If just
Yeah.
people had like nowadays these phones or something that all this could be recorded, and imagine
Right.
how much music is out there still in you guys. I mean, like that you
Yes.
played it, and I'm
Yeah.
always like, I wish I was a fly or something, you know, on the
Yeah.
wall there.
Well, Jack recorded that trio that we did, and he also
Ah,
played it for Miles because
ah, really?
they were playing at the jazz festival at the Soldier Field in Chicago, George Weins festival,
Yeah.
and he had a few hours, and he came by, and that's what we did. Yeah,
Well, yeah, it's amazing. It's yeah, like I said, yeah, beautiful. I mean, your story with Jack, that's so nice. I also listened to those
but
Emerald
he's
duets,
a
and
perfect drummer for me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. You know. Yeah.
But drums seem to be very important for you. Like I listened to the Emerald duets, and it's interesting to hear you how differently. I mean, you are you, but still,
No, no.
there is Han, Ferron, and Andrew and
Yes,
Jack, and
yes. and that was obviously construction to show this vastness of how one works with drums. But the other thing is, I have more drum duets than anybody in the history of this music.
Really? Oh wow.
Yes, yeah. Look it up. I have more. I have Peter Cobalt, not Peter Cobalt, but Gunter Baby Summers.
Somewhere, yeah.
Okay. I have DJ Net. I have those four on there.
Yeah, exactly.
And who else do I have? There's somebody that's missing. Anyway,
I'll recheck again.
No one has 5 or 6 or 7 drum duets. No one except me.
What is it about the drums?
I have one, Hamid Drake. That's
really?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
shit! I don't know about that one. I have to find it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not released yet. It's not released. You say I have it. I have it. I'm the owner of it. It's coming out one day.
Yes, please.
Yeah. And Ed Blackwell. That makes 7.
Oh man.
Yeah, Ed Blackwell on Blue Mountain Sun Drummer.
Okay, I have to find that one.
That's you. One can find that it's out there somewhere.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I have 8 drum duets that's in the public domain.
How come you decided to do drum duets? Well, what was it about the drums and your connection with them?
Well, with the drums, you got this peculiarity of membrane, the skins that vibrate, and you got this metallic stuff, these cymbals and stuff like that, and you got the trumpet. And if you notice, the trumpet causes all kinds of resonance to happen in the drum and the cymbals, but the cymbals also give off the highest ranges of overtones and resonance than any other instrument except the piano. You see, so that's the context. The trumpet sounds great with drums, and if the drummer is a great drummer, the trumpet can do anything and become really just magnificent in their performance.
Completely free, yeah. Like beautiful, man. Yeah. Wadada, not to take too much of your time, I just wanted to ask you, like, being so incredibly active as you are, like, are you still gonna present? There's also a new record with Sylvie, by the way, Courvoisier.
Yes.
And incredible amount of music already this year, and we're only in March. Are you going on the road still, or this year?
Yes. I'm gonna be in Europe. I'm coming to Europe. I'm playing Moore's. Vijay and I play Moore's Festival.
Oh wow, beautiful.
And then we have Sylvia and I have a tour starting October 16.
Wow.
And then the next week, Vijay and I have a tour starting, I think, the 28 or 29. And then after that, Jacob Bro out of Denmark.
Denmark. Oh wow, you're gonna play with him.
I have a tour with him as well. So I'll be in Europe. Well, actually, this is my last tour of Europe. I'm retiring from touring in Europe this year. So I'm doing all 3 tours as a signature finality.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the last time to catch you for us guys in Europe.
Yeah. And it'll be a month. I'll be there for a whole month. I'll play in Berlin twice in 8 days. Wow. So whoever wants to hear Wadada, come.
Yeah. Oh, I'll definitely try to catch you. I live near Graz in Austria, so if you're near somewhere,
yes.
I hope I'll try to catch you live somewhere.
Hopefully, yeah. And please, when you come, don't run away. Come and say hello to me.
I won't. I will.
Yeah.
I will definitely greet you. So, but beautiful that you have all this energy still, and you know that you're gonna do it. And after,
yeah. Well, 83 is not too bad.
No, I mean, you know, you talk like a 25-year-old. I mean, with the wisdom of an 83-year-old. I'll put it like that.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, but beautiful. Yeah. I mean, thanks so much for sharing some of these thoughts today, and really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, and great honor.
Yeah, thank you so much, and stay strong. And I hope I see you in October. So,
yes, peace now.
Peace. Bye.